Hey everybody, I am kind of a hot mess right now. I'm in my husband's car, but I wanted to hop on and make a sort of quick, hopefully quick video about kind of what's going on. In my vlog last week, I mentioned that we would be finding out the sex of the baby. I don't even know where I'm looking. Sorry. I mentioned that we would be finding out the sex of the baby on Christmas, and that I would make a vlog with that and tell you guys. We ended up finding out early. So on Friday afternoon, I got a phone call from the geneticist. So, whenever the geneticist called, something's kind of up, because the geneticists themselves don't call unless there's an abnormal blood work. So we had gotten the Harmony testing done for the trisomies and to tell the sex of the baby, and we got that back, and all of our results for that came back at the lowest end of low. So that was really great to know. And then my doctor asked if we had done the AFP testing, which AFP is for all of the levels that indicate neural tube defects, and it can also indicate placenta issues. So I had said no, and she asked if we wanted to do that, and that's one that I actually really do want to know about. So especially because I had been taking DHA with my prenatal, but the DHA level was kind of low in the prenatal. So I feel like essentially I hadn't been taking enough DHA until a couple days after we found out we were pregnant. And then I started enough DHA at that point. So I've had that in the back of my mind since the beginning, that I really wanted to do the testing about spina bifida and all that. So the way they do that test is they measure the level of AFP in your blood. They cross-reference that with the maternal age, weight, and a couple other things. And then the median of that number, they end up placing at 1. So you're basically in this group with other mothers that are in your age range and weight range. And then that number, they kind of back down. And if you're in the normal range, you're 1. And then you can go lower or higher. And if they're anything less than 5 or less than 0.5, that's abnormally low, and that can indicate things like Down syndrome or other trisomies. And if you're 2.5 or above, that's considered high, and it can indicate things like spina bifida, anencephaly, or placenta issues. So, or holes in the abdominal cavity wall, that kind of thing. So my number came back at 2.56, which obviously I would rather have it extremely closer to 1, but it's not super, super elevated, which is nice. The geneticist that called said that, she really hates making these phone calls because 90% of the phone calls she makes for levels like mine end up being nothing, but there is that 10%, so they have to make it. But she really hates making the phone calls for the not super elevated levels, almost more than the really elevated levels, because she feels like, generally speaking, it causes more stress than is needed. But that being said, we were going to have our anatomy scan on the 22nd, which I would have been 19 weeks. They wanted to move that up and combine the anatomy scan with a level 2 ultrasound, which essentially means that we will be doing it with a specialist to not only do all the measurements for the anatomy scan, but to look at the bottom of the spinal column to make sure it's closed and there's no spina bifida, to look at the top of the spinal column and the skull to make sure that there's no parts of the brain missing or parts of the skull missing, which would be anencephaly. Then we'll look at the abdominal wall to make sure there's no holes in the abdominal wall and that's all closed properly. We will also look at my placenta to make sure that there are no placental issues at this point. And if everything shows normally, they may suggest that we do an amniocentesis. They may suggest that we do closer monitoring via non-stress tests and also ultrasounds throughout the end of the second trimester and through the third trimester to make sure that my placenta does not deteriorate prematurely, or that it doesn't placental abruption. I can't think right now, it's been a really long day, but so we'll see. We won't do an amniocentesis either way, so that's off the question. They will also talk to us about termination, which again is not going to happen, but because of that, we decided that that moved up to this coming Tuesday, so I'll be 18 weeks. And because of that ultrasound moving up and being so in depth and being the level 2, we kind of talked about it and figured that we should probably know before, because the likelihood of us seeing something kind of really increases quite a bit. So we decided to find out. So we found out the sex of the baby last night, and I will do a video about it. I won't give that away yet, but we did find out the sex of the baby and told the kids today, and one was really excited and one was really not. But that's going on. And then on top of all of that, she said she's seen plenty of like 3s and 4s that have come back totally normal. So she really doesn't think that it's probable that anything's going on. It's just possible. So she wanted us to keep that in mind. But either way, it stinks to have blood levels or anything come back. Sorry, I'm like playing with my hair and my face and stuff. It sucks to have those levels come back as abnormal. Anyway, we do also have a bunch of stuff going on with the dog. The dog has not gotten significantly better since his surgery. He was starting to kind of get better, and then he just got worse, and then ended up with an eye infection, and then ended up with he was just having other breathing issues and other problems. We took him into the vet last week, and he was found to be anemic. So we did a recheck on Saturday, and his anemia levels got worse. And then between yesterday and today, he's just gotten worse. So we took him into the vet, and they're keeping him. He may need a blood transfusion. There's all kinds of stuff that we're kind of dealing with that. So unfortunately, today I had to take him to the vet. And he's just not looking really great. They don't think that he is going to pass away, but I did have to sign a DNR, which signing a DNR for your babies is just ridiculously hard anyway, but add being pregnant on top of that, and I think it's the first time where the heightened emotions have just really, really hit, and I just totally broke down. Anyway, that's what's going on. So we do know the sex of the baby. I will make a video about it, and then I'll update you guys after our Tuesday appointment with what we know. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's nothing. Yeah. So, all right. I was hoping this would be a short video, and it's not. I'm sorry. I will talk to you guys later. I hope you're all doing really well, and I'll talk to you guys Tuesday.